A revolutionary. Say whoa. Trap revolutionary. Got the wave of too scary. Doing this thing like Malcolm ain't by any means necessary. We ain't got it by no one seen hand. We got the master plan. Get the move.
What's going on, y'all? Y'all want to make this video real quick, man? I listened to the brother Immortal Minds, man, and he was just talking about how, well, he's talking about he's living in Thailand now, but he came back, I believe, over here for a little bit, and just the price, the different, differential price difference, from there to here, it's actually, I guess shocking at the same time as, it stresses you out, kind of makes you cringe a bit, when you go from here and over there and living over there for a while, and you get used to spending over there the way it is, and then come back over here and have to spend money, right? Or I guess you leave from over here and then you get over there and just it's so much easier, dealing with prices, whatever, right? So I would say it is just thinking about it, man, like I know it's behind greed. The reason prices are as high as they are over here. If you ain't never been to another country, then you don't necessarily know, but that's why we're kind of hard up over here on prices, on trying to make ends meet, because anywhere else in the world, we had our income that we was making over here and take it to another country, like we'd be straight. But most of us, are like, we were almost semi be wealthy in another country. I know for a fact, like Ethiopia, Thailand, well, I never been to Thailand, but I know like Ethiopia, Jamaica, where else? Mexico. I mean, places I've been, I can just kind of vouch for, right? So, man, I know that here, it's how the capitalism has the greed for the dollar to get more, has hiked prices up so high to where people, are paying like I said, like it was evidence about how Louis Vuitton and certain, these so-called Italian premium brands are made in China.
This is why this bag from our factory only costs you 1,000 USD.
Have y'all seen that TikTok by the Chinese guy exposing how luxury goods are actually made? Basically, he says most of the luxury brands we use every day are actually made in China, then shipped to Europe just to get rebranded and sold back to us at insane prices. Like a wedding ring that would cost $2 in China somehow turns into a $2,000 ring. China is the world's biggest manufacturing hub. 80% of your Gucci, made in China. 60% of your Prada, also made in China. Even Chanel, Fendi, Louis Vuitton, Adidas, Nike, you name it. The only real difference? China ships the products to Europe, slaps on a Made in France or Made in Italy label, and boom, luxury? It's ridiculous. While people are out here clowning Shein and Temu for being cheap and low quality, the expensive stuff you think is handcrafted in Paris or Milan? Yeah, that's made in China too. So what are you really worried about? Come on, your mega hat? That's made in China too.
And then they say like 1,000% markup. And then you feel like you got something special, but it was made in China. Like everything, pretty much else, these so-called goods are supposed to be, Italian premium brands or whatever, you know what I'm saying? You just paid $1,000 markup, but it's the same leather, the same material as something else. They just put a Gucci or a Louis Vuitton logo on it, and it's like, that exposed, like that right there just exposed, the truth about the situation and how we're overpaying and the stuff is not even worth more than anything else that's made in China, or what, really just anywhere. You know what I'm saying? You paying for a brand name. I got some Gucci shoes and don't even care to wear them, to be honest with you. But they were a gift. But I really don't care about that stuff. It don't even make a difference to me, because I honestly know that it's not the clothes you wearing. You know what I'm saying? You make that. You know, I can have on just a bait like this right here, basic shirt, and look better than somebody you got Gucci and Prada and all this on. You know what I'm saying? If you look like a slouch, your body is a slouch. You look like a slouch. You know what I'm saying? Your clothes ain't. You just gotta looking like a powder puff. In your clothes. That's what I'm saying. So the clothes, it's the man to make the clothes, not them clothes, man. I would, man, nah. I can't even, yeah, I can't even get with all of the so-called name brand of fashion because it's not worth the money that is being paid for. It's not worth it at all. I think it's just best to, get you something that you look good in, and you make the clothes look good instead of you thinking that the clothes gonna make you look good because of the name brand on it. So yeah, man, I just can't, yeah, man. All the name brand stuff and vouching for overpaying for a certain name brand. Yeah, I'm just not doing it. I'm just not doing it, man. Cause it's a waste of money, and then too, you basically support the status quo, which I talked about before. The status quo to keep us, in a position where we forking over money to other people instead of our people for certain things. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm just saying me. I can't support it. Other people probably speak against it and be like, oh man, ain't nothing wrong with spending the money or whatever. If you got it, and ain't nothing. No. It's a problem either way. I don't know nobody that's gonna spend if they know, like, oh, somebody bought this and they done marked it up 1,000% and you still pay for it. I don't know nobody that's I don't know. Unwise to me, would be that unwise. Even if they had the money. It's like, man, I might well just go to the store. And that's what people be doing, going to China and getting stuff made. Honestly, and even in that sense, I think we need to bring manufacturing. We need to get a manufacturing block in Africa, Jamaica, somewhere where our people, Caribbean, somewhere where our people are, and we can start manufacturing stuff, some form of fashion, on a basic level, and to become, some type of, I don't know, economic or manufacturing powerhouse. Just be honest with you. I know it's, like I said, it's easier said than done, but it's got to be a start somewhere. At least I don't know. I'm gonna have to research, to see if that is a possibility or if it's already going on. So that's what I think, man. That needs to be done. That way we can create some type of wealth for our people, generational, just like major wealth for our people. So, but yeah, they said they do have some industrial hubs in Africa. You know what I'm saying? Say Ethiopia, yeah. Say, historically the strongest manufacturing push to say Nigeria, South Africa, Rwanda. So, but they still have, certain challenges, like what you say, electrical liability, transportation infrastructure, access to finance and political instability in some regions, trade barriers, between countries, because I know, certain, from what I understand, like countries in Africa is like, it's restrictions on like you traveling from one country to another in Africa, instead of being like a United States of Africa, like all the countries that united. It's not like that, so. But anyway, yeah, I just want to make this video about that, man. And bring that up because, yeah, this man, it's sad that the economics of the country, man, is just based on greed, man. You know, a lot of greed and racism, actually, in case of which I always mention about slavery, and that, the institution of slavery being built, off of that greed and racism. Had it not been for that, slavery would be like non-existent. Just the hate of black people, the hatred of black people was instilled or propagandized, programmed into, American society for the oppression of black people and enslavement of black people, to keep black people enslaved and, to marginalize black people for the enslavement, so they could use, black people as a tool to build or extract resources from the land or whatever, and build a country institution based off that labor, that greed and that racism, caused that, so the greed right now, of like I said, economics to just get a dollar, get more, is the issue, and we're being charged over here, like I said, 1,000% up, markups, when it's unnecessary, like really, literally unnecessary, because all of us could live better, if people wasn't so engulfed in their greed, so wrapped in their greed, even with jobs over here, the jobs that they ship to those countries so they can cut the labor costs down, and continue to pad their pockets, same thing, because people over here could be paid to do the jobs they shipped out. You'd pay a little more. We do expect more. Yeah, that's just what it is. But people could be employed even more here. But just what it is, man. You know what I'm saying? Their greed, just to get enough, to get an extra, dollar is so rampant. To where it undermines the country, the economics, the growth, the economic growth of the country, because people are chasing the dollar that hard, to where they even sacrifice their own people over here to get a dollar, by shipping jobs, overseas and, other places, to try to get more money, more profit from goods, the sale of their whatever, goods that, they are selling, so, but anyway, I just want to get on here and say that, just provide some light on that. But anyway, I'm gonna get up off her. I hope y'all out there doing well, living life full of love and happiness, doing great, strive for greatness every day. I hope y'all out, just doing well. Like I said before, I appreciate y'all liking, sharing, comment on the videos. We can agree or we can disagree. We can hash it out. But until next, y'all, love y'all. All right, y'all.
Bucket, go ahead and blow off the dough. Step through the maze, man, and became amazing. About to rewrite history and change a page in a crooked book that never told us the true story. Like how we were kings and queens before the slave story, before the killing, stealing, and drug dealing. On some real shit, we ran the world.